Tonight, we're not doing rumors. We're doing structure.
The Justice Department's Friday release of its investigative materials related to Jeffrey Epstein is packed with details about his ties to the most powerful figures in politics, tech, and global affairs. The documents shed new light on the depth of his relationships between the convicted sex offender and figures such as Steve Bannon, Elon Musk, and world leaders. In particular, the files contain extensive exchanges with Bannon as he mounted a political influence campaign across Europe, and numerous overtures, the unrequited kind, to Musk. Because on January 30th, 2026, the U.S. Department of Justice released over 3 million additional pages tied to Jeffrey Epstein, plus 2,000-plus videos and 180,000 images.
Quick rule before we map this. Being mentioned in documents or communications does not equal wrongdoing. It can mean outreach, logistics, proximity, or nothing more than a name in a file.
And the documents add new heft to earlier indications that Epstein wielded extraordinary influence for years, even as investigations into his trafficking of young girls had ramped up. Documents previously released by the Justice Department show that Epstein, who died in jail in 2019, advised and cultivated ties with prominent leaders in Europe, including Russian government officials. He dined with Hollywood elites, CEOs, and government officials, often inviting them to his home's an infamous island. And he used a network of relationships with prominent Washington figures to influence the Trump White House as well.
Epstein's association with Bannon, a conservative political strategist, is well documented, but the new tranche of files suggests the relationship between the two men was deeper, chummier, and more expansive than previously known. The documents included thousands of texts between the two men, particularly in 2018 and 2019, within months of Epstein's death by suicide in jail, after Bannon had left the Trump White House on rocky terms. The messages redact Epstein's name, but the context makes clear that it is the financier doing the talking. He references his plane, his homes, his island, and expresses personal umbrage at the trafficking allegations he was facing at that time. And there are numerous emails between Bannon and Epstein in the same time period without the same redactions that reflect their frequent communication. First ring, political influence lanes.
The reporting describes extensive communications involving Steve Bannon, painting a picture of frequent contact across media talk, strategy chatter, and broader political maneuvering. Bannon did not immediately respond to requests for comment about his relationship with Epstein, or new details surfaced in the Friday release. The Justice Department did not respond to requests for comment about the messages. Bannon has said little publicly about their relationship, but he did previously call for an independent investigation into the files.
Second ring, the tech lane, and attempted access.
The reporting says Epstein made repeated outreach efforts toward Elon Musk, with emails showing invitations and back and forth, but no clear confirmation of in-person meetings in what's being described. The story of Musk and Epstein appears to be one of unrequited overtures by the late convicted sex offender to the billionaire tech mogul. Emails from 2012 to 2014 show Epstein trying and failing to meet with Musk, with the latter citing schedule conflicts and logistical complications. The communications don't reflect any actual in-person meetings between the pair. Representatives for Musk did not immediately respond to a request for comment about the exchanges. Musk was one of the most prominent voices pushing for the release of the Epstein documents last summer.
Third ring, logistics, where the receipts live. The reporting highlights emails involving Howard Lutnick tied to a 2012 Caribbean visit connected to Epstein, which the reporting frames as conflicting with some earlier public recollections about contact.
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick was in contact through email with Epstein about a visit to the convicted sex offender's Caribbean compound in 2012, according to the documents released Friday by the Justice Department. Lutnick had previously denied spending time with Epstein after around 2005, but email correspondence between them reflects a closer relationship between the two than previously known, contradicting Lutnick's claim that they were no longer in contact after that point. In November 2012, Leslie Groff, a longtime aide for Epstein, reached out to Lutnick to set up a date for the two to meet while Lutnick was in St. Thomas, near Epstein's home on Little St. James, his private island off the coast. Lutnick and Epstein agreed to a lunch for Sunday, December 23rd. Accompanying Lutnick on vacation were his wife Allison and their 4 children, along with another couple and their 4 children.
Fourth ring, international reach. The reporting describes connections involving foreign officials and institutions, depicting Epstein as someone who worked to facilitate introductions and orbit global power spaces.
So what's the pattern? Not just who's named. It's how proximity works: outreach, access, logistics, influence. And the pushback? Some critics argue releases are heavily redacted, and victims' advocates have raised concerns about how the disclosures are handled.
This is why we map it, because names create noise, but structure shows the system. Comment map if you want me to build the full orbit graphic on screen. Clean, organized, and easy to follow. And comment timeline if you want it animated year by year. Subscribe now.
Melania, the First Lady, a model. And when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. And what that stands for is an Einstein visa. Now, y'all that don't know, let me tell you how you receive an Einstein visa. You're supposed to have some sort of significant achievement, like being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer, being an Olympic medalist, or having other sustained extraordinary abilities and success in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. Last time I checked, the First Lady had none of those accolades under her belt.